Your 2022 governor, Pablo.
Pablo, you have just been named the 2022 Arkansas Boys State Governor. What are you feeling right now?
It's really exciting. I feel like I've come a long way. This Boys State journey has been it's been a real eye opener for me. I didn't anticipate being here, nor did I expect myself to be here. But I did it, and I'm really proud of it. It's exciting.
When you came into this week, what were you expecting to get out of the Arkansas Boys State experience, and how does that relate to what you're feeling now?
To be completely honest, I thought coming to Boys State would just be like a cool camp experience. Maybe it'd be a little boring at times, but Boys State is completely different than any other camp I think I've ever been to. It's filled with opportunity, chances to speak your mind, to speak your voice, and I guess that's the opportunity I took up on whenever I chose to run for governor.
What are you looking forward to most with this opportunity and the multiple doors that it opens, not only here this week at Arkansas Boys State, but in the year to come as you were finishing high school and going into college?
It's really exciting. In my head, I've been thinking about man, I'm gonna have to tell my mom about this because everyone back home has been really supportive. I think I'm gonna be coming back to a lot of celebration. It's really cool to see. To be honest with you, I didn't even know the awards for getting governor. That's what's so surprising to me, because I wanted to represent Boys State. That was the entire purpose, was to be an advocate. And I accomplished that, and I'm very proud of that. But I'm also very happy about the results from the election. So.
You talk about representing Boise State, which you certainly are, and thank you for that. But how does it feel to bring this home to your brothers, your delegates in Hanner County? What does that feel like?
It feels amazing because I feel like they were all anticipating it. They were all very supportive throughout my entire campaign. I love all of them. I hold a lot of love for those guys. I feel like we built a real lifelong brotherhood. Like I said in my speech earlier today, this brotherhood is going to last for years to come, and I'm sure of it.
As your first unofficial address as Arkansas Boise State Governor 2022, what do you have to say to the people?
I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for this amazing title. I have all of you to thank for it.
Intentando no llorar tanto, pero es como soy muy feliz. Soy el primero latino, man. Y de 81 años, soy el primero. Soy muy feliz. Es un honor y trabajé mucho para llegar aquí. Gracias a Dios que me electaron. Okay. Vamos, damos. Gracias.
Another round of applause for that band. At this time, we're inviting the choir to come to the stage. Remember, it was just a few short days ago that we came together and this band formulated and this choir formulated, and it's exciting to hear them make one beautiful sound. Let's again appreciate our band and our choir for the work they've done. Our band is a pep band, but also it's a ceremonial band, and our choir makes some beautiful sounds, and today you're gonna get a chance to hear even more of that beautiful music from this Your Boise State Choir 2022.
Once again, let's give it up for our Boys State Choir. All right, at this time, I am privileged to announce that we've got a special guest here who is going to be here to swear in our constitutional offices and our House and Senate. And so I'd like to welcome to the podium Chief Justice John D. Kemp.
Good evening, Boys State. I would have never in my wildest dreams back in 1968, whenever I was at Boys State over at Camp Robinson, imagine that I'd be before you as Chief Justice of the Arkansas Supreme Court swearing in the Boys State governor and officers. And also 5 years ago getting inducted to the Boys State Hall of Fame. And I'm very pleased that we're doing this in person again, that we're able to do this, because this is one of the favorite events that I get to participate in, because I love to see the enthusiasm of everybody here, and the band, you know, it's been fantastic, and I hope you've enjoyed it too. I know as delegates, all of you have just completed your junior year in school, and you're going to be going into your senior year. And my advice to you is, enjoy your senior year. You know, you're at the top of the heap now in school. All the other students in school look up to you as seniors. And you've worked hard to get there. You know, many of you are going to be officers in student council, other organizations and clubs. And think back to the people that have helped you get there. You know, you hadn't done it all alone. You know, there's been people to help you, teachers, coaches, parents, fellow students. You know, they've helped you to get to this point. And also consider to help underclassmen this next year. You'll have a great opportunity to help them and show gratitude to those that have helped you. You know, you can be surprised at what a little kindness will do. As an example, I had a fraternity reunion a few years ago. I was talking to one of my fraternity brothers from college that I hadn't seen in 40 years. And whenever I was in college, I was the captain of our fraternity bowling team. And he told me, he said, hey, I appreciate so much you adding me to the bowling team. You know, I was just a freshman and you were upperclassman. And, you know, I didn't think much about that because I just thought he'd be a fun guy to be on our bowling team. But that meant a lot to him. You know, I didn't even realize it. A few years ago, there was a judge in South Arkansas who said when he was a new judge, he had come to the first judges meeting. And I served as president of the Judicial Council then, and he said, you know, I appreciate you coming across the room and introducing yourself and making me feel welcome. And I didn't even remember doing that. But, you know, that was impactful for him. So in the same way, you may do something for somebody, underclassmen or whoever, may not even consider it as being important, but to them, you know, it can be impactful on their life. A few years ago, I had a Murphy's Law day-by-day desk calendar, and it would have a saying for each day of the year. If you're not familiar, Murphy's Law is, if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. And it had the saying, like one of the sayings was, if at first you don't succeed, destroy all evidence that you even tried. Or there was a law of, well, really the one that stuck out to me was, you don't know your limits until you go beyond them. And to me, that meant that you need to get out of your comfort zone, that you need to make an effort to do a little bit more than what you think you can do, that you need to push beyond your limits. And to push beyond your limits, you need to make efforts to challenge yourself to do a little bit more than what you may expect that you can do. And, you know, we have obstacles that sometimes we place in our way ourselves. You know, we may have the obstacle of doubt or fear, or sometimes maybe even a bad attitude. But we need to put those aside and concentrate on your goal, because you know, you don't know what you can accomplish. And I know, probably Governor Hutchinson and I have both faced an obstacle of being from a small town, and people saying, well, you know, he doesn't have a chance to win his race because he's from Gravette or I'm from Mountain View. But I think we're examples that we proved those people wrong, you know, getting elected as governor and get elected as Chief Justice. So, you know, don't sell yourself short, but try a little bit harder to go beyond what you may think that you can do. And sometimes it may take something to motivate you. You know, it may be a Bible verse, it may be a song, it may be a TikTok or a YouTube video or something like that, but something that's going to cause you to be passionate about trying to reach your goals and accomplish what you want to accomplish. I know for me, whenever I ran for circuit judge back in 1986, there was a Bible verse that I recited to myself from Ecclesiastes 9th chapter, verse 11. The race is not to the swift or the battle to the strong, but time and chance happen to them all. So that said to me that it wasn't always the fastest person that wins a race, or it wasn't always the strongest person that won the battle, but the underdog had a chance to win. I kind of considered myself as an underdog, and I did win that race. Or whenever I was running for, getting ready to run for Chief Justice, and this wasn't necessarily a positive motivation, but I called around to different attorneys around the state to kind of get their advice and see what they thought about my chances were of winning. And I know one of those lawyers told me, well, that's a mountain too high to climb. And that's something I thought about every morning during my campaign. You know, I'm going to climb that mountain, and I did. So, you know, don't sell yourself short, and find something that's going to motivate you to reach your goals. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one other thing to you. You know, we've gone through some trying times the last couple of years with the pandemic, and that's caused some stressful situations, some isolation. So I'm going to, you know, remind you, look after your own well-being. You know, as students, you face those same stresses that adults do. You know, look not only at yourself as far as your school life, but as for the whole person, you know, including your physical, your intellectual, your spiritual, social, emotional life, as well as your student life. You know, make good decisions so that you can have a good quality of life. And if you find yourself, you know, being in a situation because of stress that isn't good for you, you know, find somebody that you trust that you can talk with about that situation, you know, whether it's a teacher, counselor, minister, parent, or close friend, so that you can get some help. So in closing, you know, enjoy this school year, your senior year. You know, take the necessary steps to protect your well-being. Show some kindness, because you don't know what kind of impact that's going to have on others. And just do the best that you can do to be the best that you can be. So congratulations for being here. Now at this time, we'll do the swearing in first for the state representatives. If you've been elected as a state representative, would you please stand and raise your right hand. Say "I" in your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Arkansas and the Constitution of Arkansas Boys State, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of State Representative, the position upon which I've been elected, so help me God. Okay, congratulations. Okay, let me get the state senators, if you would please, to stand. Raise your right hand and say aye, your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Arkansas, and the Constitution of Arkansas Boys State. And I will faithfully discharge the duties of State Senator, the position upon which I've been elected, so help me God. Okay, congratulations. Now, if we'll have all the constitutional officers and the Supreme Court members who've been elected, please stand. Raise your right hand, say aye in your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Arkansas, and the Constitution of Arkansas Boys State. And I will faithfully discharge the duties of the position upon which I've been elected. So help me God. Okay, congratulations. Okay, let me ask Pablo if he'd please step forward to swear him in as the governor. If you'll raise your right hand, say aye in your name. Aye in your name.
I,
Sir? Say aye in your name.
I in your name. Wait, oh, I'm sorry, what am I saying? Oh, I, Pablo Velasco Moya,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Arkansas,
the Constitution of the State of Arkansas,
and the Constitution of Arkansas Boys State,
and the Constitution of Arkansas Boys State,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Governor of Arkansas Boys State,
of Governor of Arkansas Boys State,
the position upon which I've been elected.
the position on which I have been elected.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
All right, at this time, I'd like to introduce to you to the podium one final time a farewell address by our governor for 2020, Mr. Michael Finkenbinder from Dardanelle. Good job this week.
Good evening, Arkansas Boys State. Wow, I'm not even going to have to ask y'all a second time. Before I do or say anything else, can we just take one moment to give another big round of applause for our newly elected delegates, for the amazing staff members that are running this program, for Governor Asa Hutchinson, our newly elected governor, Pablo, and of course for all of you as well. Thank you, everyone, for indulging me just one last time as I prepare to say my farewells. First things first, I just want to take the opportunity to thank all of you, for the amazing experience that we've had this week. As both your governor and for many of you as your counselor, I've had the pleasure of seeing all of you grow rapidly in just a few short days. And I've seen the leaders that you all are and are becoming. And it lets me rest easy, because I know that this country and this state is going to be in good hands as all of you begin to make your mark. I also have all of you to thank for my own growth. It's because of my interactions with all of you that I've been able to grow as a leader, that I've been able to grow as a person, and that I've felt even more inspired than ever to try and make a change for the better. Now, if I'm being honest with all of you, I probably wrote this speech 3 different times, just trying to figure out exactly what it is that I wanted to say to everyone at the end of my tenure. And every time that I wrote it, it just got more difficult, because I realized that there were things that just couldn't be encapsulated in words. So with all the things that have been said, I just want to talk a little bit about those feelings that are so hard to capture in a speech. Over the past several years, we've all been facing trials and tribulations that we never thought we would have to overcome. The COVID-19 pandemic was difficult for all of us and life-changing for many of us. We've seen friends, family members suffering or even dying. And even now, as we're slowly making our way back to some semblance of normalcy, the threat still seems to loom over us greater than ever. Not of COVID-19 specifically, but just of the instability and the precariousness of our situation. Our country has been in disarray. Polarization has driven us further apart than ever. We've seen the lengths that people will go to justify, or even worse yet, act on their intolerance, on their prejudice. And we've even seen this happening over the course of the week that we've been here. I'm sure most of you are aware of the atrocity that we saw in Tulsa last night. But I want you all to keep in mind that that is just one incident out of many. Since many of us began to arrive here on Sunday, there have already been 12 officially designated mass shootings in the United States, in which 11 people have died and 57 more have been injured. And it's only been 4 days since all of us arrived here on campus. I know that my talking about this is definitely making some of you uncomfortable, sad, or maybe even feeling in some way hopeless about our situation. I know that with these kinds of tragedies occurring seemingly nearly every day, it makes me begin to lose faith. Faith in our democracy, faith in our community, faith in my fellow man. But the reason that I want to speak to all of you today at the end of my tenure is because there is one thing that keeps me from losing faith entirely, and that is all of you. With my last time addressing you as governor here tonight, I want to tell you all that there is hope and that you should have faith. If not in our democracy, if not in our communities or education systems, if not in some of our elected officials, then at the very least in each other and in yourselves. The Arkansas Boys State program is unique. It helps to mold all of us and all of the generations that are going to come after us into the leaders that we need, the leaders that are going to make a change. Over the course of this week, you have campaigned, you have drafted legislation, you have protested, but most importantly, you've all used your positions as elected officials, as leaders, and simply as members of this amazing delegation to fight for yourselves, to fight for each other, and to fight for the values that you believe in. So I want you all to remember that no matter the moments of despair that you may seem to be presented with, no matter the turmoil that may come your way, just remember these two things: to have faith in yourself and to remember that you have hundreds of other leaders in this very room that you can lean on. If you remember that, if you can take the lessons that you've learned this week about how you can truly be a leader, then you all have the capacity to be the ones that make real change happen. To Pablo, I really have only one thing to say for now. You've shown everyone in this room your passion, your willingness to fight, and your dedication for all of us. You've shown us what it means to truly be a leader. So as you, and as all of us, begin to enter this next chapter in our lives, and as you take up your role as governor, just know that I and everyone in this room has faith in you. Pablo, under your leadership, I'm sure that the best is yet to come for Arkansas Boys State, and I'm honored to be able to pass the torch on to you. So now, for one last time, I'm going to pass the floor on to my fellow governor, Mr. Richard Ware. Thank you, everyone. It's been an honor.
Thank you, former Governor Finkenbinder. And now at this time, I've got the privilege to do what has never been done before at Arkansas Boys State, and that is to introduce a second farewell address. First time ever in 81 years of our sessions, your 2021 Governor Richard Ware from Hope, Arkansas.
Good evening, Arkansas Boys State delegates. Good evening. It is an honor and a pleasure to be able to address you all once more. This has been one eventful week. We held discussions, we held elections, but most importantly, we developed brotherly relationships with one another. So I ask you this: what comes next? The state of the world right now is in constant flux. In these recent times, our world and our United States face many instances of violence, destruction, and division. Violence continues to be waged across our country, and our leaders cannot unite to solve this problem. The mass polarization that we see across the United States is not just in our government, but our citizens as well. When the progress of our collective work is halted, we feel incomplete. When our work is incomplete, that means the job is not finished. And I want to leave you all with one simple job to be done, and that job is to usher in an era of connectedness. There is always something you can do to further yourself, further your fellow man, and further your country. However, you cannot solve every problem by yourself or a small group. Working as a whole collective rather than the individual or a small group will create the America that you envision. People in our nation, people in our society, and people in our state are hurting. People do not feel safe in their own bodies, their own schools, or even their own minds. It is time to change that. We as a nation need to unite. We need to no longer separate ourselves by color, no longer by party, no longer by beliefs, and work towards this era of connectedness. We cannot band together every time after a moment of tragedy and then disconnect. Change can start with me. Change can start with you all. To usher in this era is not just my goal as governor, but also as an Arkansan, because I truly love this state of Arkansas. You all banded together to protest my sidewalks. You guys banded together to campaign for your counties. You guys also worked on issues. Who's to say that we as a collective cannot join together to make Arkansas a better state? Who's to say that we as a collective cannot band together to make the United States the greatest country it's ever been? Uniting all citizens in the interest of Arkansas is my ultimate goal, as well as uniting our citizens of our nation. Who's to say that cannot be all of our goals? But I would like to leave that for you to think about. Ushering in this new era of connectedness under leaders such as the newly elected Governor Pablo. Governor Pablo, this is all from the heart, no longer on my phone, but I see something in you that I once saw in me. When I first ran for governor, I was not really expecting much. I didn't expect to captivate the hearts of the delegates from 2021. But Pablo, just as my senior counselor from last year said to me, when you speak, people listen. Your ability to captivate these delegates to usher in their connectedness with you will take them and yourself very far. Pablo, congratulations on being elected as governor. I cannot be any more proud of you. I want to thank you all for your support. It has been a pleasure presiding over all of you and addressing you all as your 2021 governor. Thank you all for allowing me to be your governor and try to usher in this era of connectedness. God bless you, and may He forever bless our natural state of Arkansas. Thank you.
And now, for the moment that we've been waiting for this entire week, it's my pleasure to introduce to you your 2022 Boys State Governor, Mr. Pablo Velasco Moya.
I love you too. I've had to write a lot of speeches over these last couple of days, and for this I decided not to. I want to speak to you all from the bottom of my heart that I appreciate each and every single one of you for electing me, for believing in me, and for listening to me. Words can't express this feeling that I'm feeling. I had a couple phone calls earlier. That's partially why I didn't write my speech. I was really excited to be put in this position. I called my whole family. Everyone back home was really happy. You all did that for me. And now it's my turn to repay that. I'm here to tell you that I'll do my best for Arkansas Boys State as your governor. It is my honor to represent you all. It is now also my honor to introduce Governor Asa Hutchinson. Governor Asa Hutchinson was an attorney of the Western District of Arkansas from 1982 to 1985. He then served as a U.S. representative for Arkansas's 3rd Congressional District from 1997 to 2001. Was the administrator of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration from 2001 to 2003, and was the first Undersecretary for Border and Transportation Security at the United States Department of Homeland Security from 2003 to 2005. Everyone please give a warm welcome to the 46th and current Governor of Arkansas, Governor Asa Hutchinson.
Thank you. Let me extend my congratulations as well to Governor Pablo Velasco Moya. And I want to assure you, Governor, that my office in the Capitol awaits you tomorrow with your team. I also want to thank the American Legion. What an incredible Boy State you have this year, and what a difference it makes for Arkansas. I'm always glad to be here. This is my 8th time to be here at Boy State as governor. And this actually will be my last time to be here because of term limits. But it's been an incredible honor, and this is the first time, I believe, that the First Lady of Arkansas, Susan, has joined us. So welcome, First Lady. Chief Justice Kemp, it is always good to be with you. I appreciate your leadership from the bench. And then I want to say hello to, is it Hutchinson County right here? And I hope you treated my grandson Malcolm very well this week. I think I've learned you don't negotiate with that guy. So congratulations, Malcolm. Very, very proud of you. You know, as I was introduced and Judge Kemp made the reference, I come from a small town called Gravett up in northwest Arkansas. And thank you. And later, I graduated from Springdale High School. We raised our 4 children in Fort Smith. So I've seen a lot of Arkansas, and I've fallen in love with the Delta in my duck hunting days, which I continue. And it's just such a beautiful, incredible state that we enjoy. And I wanted to talk just for a few minutes about some tough decisions I've had to make as governor, but also through the course of that, want you to be extremely proud of this state and all that is happening here. Whenever you look at the fact that we're below the national average in unemployment, in other words, more people are working in Arkansas than ever before. We're creating jobs in this state. We have moved industry that has come into this state, that has expanded. We're leading the nation in computer science education. Do you like to lead the country in something? Well, we're #1 in computer science education. Whenever you look at the fact that we have lowered taxes, we have reduced regulation in this state, we have created businesses, we've grown the private sector more than the public sector. These are important foundational principles that I've governed by. But it's important, and I hope that you understand how you have to make some tough calls along the way. It was during the pandemic, it was during COVID, and it hit us in March of 2020. And I tried to learn as much as I could from other governors. I listened as much as I could. I studied as much as I could. And I noted that every state was having to issue orders saying we're going to shelter in place, we're going to close our businesses. And I was getting letters all of a sudden from businesses that said, Governor, don't close us down because we're an essential business. And I thought, this is the oddest thing. And then we had the pressure to shelter in place, and we're one of only 5 states that didn't do that. And we kept our businesses open because I believe that every business that provides a job for a family is an essential business. And so we kept our businesses open in this state. And then because of that, we were able to recover more quickly economically. But the other thing that was pretty tough was whenever in March of 2020, as you will remember, we went virtual in our schools. And when we did that, I started getting letters from students. I started getting letters from parents and from teachers and said, please keep our schools open next year. And I made up my mind we needed to keep our schools open in Arkansas for in-classroom instruction. And as a result of that decision, and it was influenced by young people just like you, so never underestimate your power. Whenever I have a student that writes me and says, this will be my senior year, I want to play football, give us a chance to play this year. And through difficult circumstances, we did that. And the result of it, you look back from President Biden on down, everybody says we needed to really keep our schools open. And Arkansas, I'm proud of the fact, is #2 in the nation for days of in-classroom instruction in our public schools during the pandemic. We were number 2, and it's because of you and the courage were able to keep our schools open. Those are some tough calls that I had to make. I also think it's important that you follow your principles in life. And I have principles of governing. I've already mentioned that. Lower taxes, and we lowered our tax rate by 24% in Arkansas for individuals. That's important, puts more money in individuals' pockets. Whenever you follow the principle that you want businesses to grow and you recruit industry to this state, it makes a difference in people's lives. Most recently, I was able to recruit United States Steel Corporation to Arkansas. And this impacts Mississippi County. It impacts Blytheville, Osceola, and all along the Mississippi River part of our state. And we had to compete for that company to come to Arkansas. We competed by showcasing our state and all that we had to offer. And in the end, we were able to attract the new steel company with a $3 billion investment, the largest investment in the history of our state for economic purposes. Yes, please give them a round of applause there. And what that meant was that we had 900 new jobs being created at an average wage rate of $100,000 apiece. Now, not everybody can go in the steel business, but it's not bad. It is a great pay scale for the state of Arkansas. When David Burritt, the CEO of U.S. Steel that's located in Pennsylvania, he came down for our groundbreaking, and he called me to the side and said, we decided on located in Arkansas over all the other states because of the ease of doing business here and the fact that we got a permit and we can build the plant, and we'll build the plant here quicker than we could even get a permit in Pennsylvania. And it's important then, leadership, it's important your philosophy, it's important your principles of life. And I hope that as you look to the future, that you will follow those principles that you believe in, that you will connect, as our former governor said, that you will lead, and as you do that, and as you engage in debate, I believe it is important that you be civil. We need more civility in our life, including our public life and in our politics. We need to be able to talk to one another, regardless of the party that you are engaged with. I'm a Republican. I believe in the conservative cause, but I also believe that we need to talk and work together for the good of our country. And that brings me to the point that you can be part of the solution for the future. Whenever I was a young United States attorney, I was the youngest in the nation at the age of 31, I had the unique opportunity for the first time to go to the Oval Office. And in your first visit to the Oval Office, you pay a lot of attention to all the details. And I visited with President Ronald Reagan across the desk. And as I looked at his life, which was sort of a mentor to me, there was 3 characteristics of Ronald Reagan. He was, first of all, a consistent conservative, whether he won or lost an election. And he lost, he continued his beliefs, and people turned to him in a time of challenge and elected him President of the United States. He also, when he got elected, and said, we've got to address problems in America and we need to do it together, and he reached across the aisle to the Democrat Speaker of the House, Tip O'Neill, and they worked together to solve problems. And then finally, he was an optimist about the future of America. He believed in our country, he believed the best days were ahead, and he put a smile on his face as he talked to America about our challenges and the way ahead. I've tried to apply those principles in my life. I hope that you will as well. Now, I've talked about some of the things that I've got to do during the last 8 years as governor. Some of it's been hard work, but every once in a while something fun really comes along to do. And that was, I was asked to go be the honorary starter at the Coca-Cola 600, the NASCAR race in Charlotte. And let me tell you, that's a fun time. So I went there and I thought, how hard can it be to wave that flag to start the engines and the race as they go down the Coca-Cola 600. But as I got there, I started visiting with people, and they said, "What are you doing here, Governor?" And I said, "Well, I'm the honorary starter." And they looked at me and they said, "Don't drop the flag." And I thought, how difficult can this be? And so I started Googling and going on Facebook and looking at other people who have actually started the race and they dropped the flag. And the reason it's so difficult, they start 100 yards down, they start their engines, and by the time they get to you, they're going about 100 miles an hour. And there's this updraft that will take that flag and rip it out of your hand. And so I started getting nervous. And then I went into pit row, and they allowed me to shake hands with all the race car drivers first. And they looked at me and they said, "Governor, don't drop the flag." And then I was really getting nervous. And so I had to go up and climb the pole so I could be on top to wave that flag. They started their engines. They started going toward me. I was signaled to wave the flag. I used both hands, and I want you to know, as governor of Arkansas, I did not drop that flag. And yes, there's some symbolism there. Those of us in leadership, we pass the flag to you. America has its challenges today, but guess what? We're a free country, we're a great country, and if we can bind together, you can carry that flag and you can make the next generation the greatest in America. God bless you, Boys States. It is great to be with you.
It is a privilege and an honor to introduce the next person to the stage, my great friend and colleague, Reverend Kent Broughton.
God sent his son. They called him Jesus. He came to love, heal and forgive. He lived and died to buy my pardon. An empty grave is there to prove my Savior lives. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, all my fear is gone. Because I know he holds my future. And life is worth all the living because he lives. And then one day I'll cross the river. I'll fight life's fight, no war with pain. And then as death gives way to victory, I'll see the lights of glory, and I'll know he lives. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, all my fear is gone. Because I know he holds my future. And life is worth the living just because he lives. And life is worth, oh, the living just because I know he lives.
So, I'm going to go ahead and shut down the ceremony now. At this time, we'll invite someone to come give the benediction. You remember the name?
His name is on there, right? Or no?
No. Do you remember?
It should be Keith Smith or Keith Smith.
Yeah, just ask what. He knows he's coming, right? Yeah, he does. Introduce him to the benediction. Okay, so let's start.
Now we will have Keithan Smith for the benediction.
Can we please bow our heads? Lord, I want to thank you for waking us all up this morning. I want to thank you for giving us all this opportunity to meet and to share our ideas, our thoughts and feelings with each other. God, I want to thank you again for bringing us together to grow as individuals and to grow as functioning members of society. In your Son, Jesus' name, amen.
Now we'll do the creed, okay? Just hold it. Ask him to turn to page 11, and he'll lead us in the Boys State Creed.
Please turn to page 11 as I lead you through the Boys State Creed. Okay. Please turn to page 11 as we read together the Boys State Creed.
Start right there.
American citizenship is my most priceless possession. I believe in the constitutional form of government of the United States of America, which guarantees me as a citizen equal opportunity, equal educational rights, and the right to worship God as I choose. It is my obligation to participate in and contribute my effort to the civic and political welfare of my community, state, and nation. I resolve to learn and understand government and the civic needs of my community, and I hereby dedicate myself to the task of arousing and maintaining a like interest in my fellow citizens. Therefore, may the experience of Boys State be ever with me as a reminder of my obligation to God and country.
Now, at this time, let's say, Boys State, Hut Team Hut, prepare to retire colors. Pause a second, and we'll retire colors.
Boys State, Huts and Hut, prepare to retire colors. Retire colors. Hand salute. Two.
Yes. Okay. This time you want to dismiss the governor and the chief justice. Okay. This time we'll dismiss them.
At this time, we will dismiss the governor and the chief justice.
One announcement before I can read this announcement. They're not paying attention. Yeah, let's go ahead. Go ahead and make the announcement.
We need all state constitutional officers, including the chief and associate justices, to come to the stage immediately following dismissal. Again, all state constitutional officers, including the chief and associate justices, must come to the stage immediately following dismissal of this program. You are now dismissed to your county councilors.
All right. Good job.